I woke up today like, do I have to work? Like, every few months in LA, it's like, we gotta work. The world's ending, we still gotta work. Oh, there's a fire, we still gotta work. Oh, there's riots, we still gotta work. There's aliens, we still gotta work. The world is ending, we still gotta work. Every few months, I'm getting over it. I'm getting tired of it. Like, it's the end of the world every few months. And yet we're still here. And yet we're still here. So I think as someone that's like aware of what is happening just like in the world, and when you think of like spiritual things, like, yeah, a lot of shit is happening, and you know, a lot of these things have to happen for things to change, but it gets exhausting. Like, I'm tired, bruh. I'm tired. Do you know that when people are scared or fear-mongering, they can't really function? Like, how do you expect us to like live our lives, you know, go to work and do this and do that, if like everything seems, you know, to be falling apart? So obviously, like, this weekend with the protests and all that stuff, like, you know, I'm kind of tired of being in the middle of it. I don't know. Like, I am angry and I am frustrated because it keeps happening. Like, if you pay attention, it's like every few months there's something big happening. There's chaos, and it's just like it disrupts our lives, and we can't even like function as human beings. You know, obviously it's by design. You know, if you keep people scared, if you keep them controlled, they'll listen to you. They'll stay at home. They won't do anything, and you know, that's how they get control over people, by showing us how scary the world can be, which, you know, we already know. We're adults, we live in it. Fuck, like, people in LA, like, can you give us a break? Like, literally a few months ago we had the LA fires, you know, like, we had that scare. And then when was that? That was like January. It's like every few months there's some bullshit happening. I'm frustrated. I'm sad about what's happening. You know, we all have to find our space in it. I'm here to tell you what to do or what you should do. It's different for everybody, but obviously, you know, just stay safe. Do what you think is best for you. You know, I'm not here to say like go protest, go to this, go to that. Like, do what is called to you, but also be safe. You know, if you look Mexican, they're gonna get you, so be smart about it. If you're like me, que tienes el nopal en la frente, you know. So I don't know, like, I guess just telling people to be careful and be smart about what they're doing and where they're doing it, you know. Sad world we live in, when every few months we gotta be like prepared for the end of the world. Okay, like, how many more ends of the worlds can we go through? That's the annoying part, you know. And we're still expected to like go to our jobs and be happy or act happy, you know. I don't know, it's been another difficult weekend over here. I also feel kind of dumb. Like, I'm over here like worrying about someone, wondering if she's okay, when, you know, I don't know where she's at. I don't know anything. And I'm still over here like thinking about her. Like, working with kids, you have to take some classes about child development and, you know, all that stuff, and you figure it out yourself, and you're like, oh, that's why I have this issue. Oh, this is why I have mother issues. So you can like pinpoint where it happened in your life or how it happened. And they also say that as humans, we need certain things to feel safe and to thrive. So obviously, as growing up as a kid, there are certain needs that you need. You know, basic needs, obviously, food, nutrition, care. Like, if a kid has that, then they can go on to the other step of their other needs, like emotional needs. But like, first is your physical body, Like, let's say, a kid has to have breakfast in the morning, they have to have snacks, they make sure they have water and, all that stuff. So basic needs first, like human nutrition needs, and then second is like emotional needs, and then third is feeling secure in your home and, in your life or whatever. So as adults, that carries on how we grew up. So part of the system, we all gotta work. It's most people are on survival mode, which we are, all of us, because of all the bullshit that's happening in the world. So when you have people controlled by fear, like we are now, obviously, there's basic needs or some needs that don't get fulfilled. So right now, most of us we're functioning in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, it takes longer to achieve your goals or, whatever you want in your life, because there's certain steps of what you need. If you're going day by day and you're like, oh, I'm scared, this is happening, you're just wishing for another day. You're just thinking of the next day. So a society that can't thrive is a society that's barely surviving, which I think a lot of us are. So when a person has a lot of distractions, like, let's say me, like, I'm an artist, I like to draw, I want to make cartoons, I want to make animations. There's certain things I want to do, but there's certain things I have to do to get there. Obviously, we all need to work, we all need to make money, we all need to pay bills. So there's certain steps for that. And when you get stuck in one, you can't move forward. So if we're all on survival mode right here, the rest is harder. Like, it's harder to take time and do your craft or do what you love or do, your passion. For me, it's drawing and creating, making videos, all that stuff. But you can't succeed if there's a blockage. And obviously, with everything that's going on, it's a blockage because you're just thinking about the day-to-day life. So that's how most people are functioning now. So it's not a society that's thriving, it's a society that's surviving. And that's why, like, I don't believe any of these politicians, like, not Trump, not Newsom. They don't help you. They're here to help themselves, and it's so obvious. We're just the little people stuck in the middle. I'm tired of, like, every few months there's some bullshit. Like, you think you're moving forward, and oh, another bullshit. It's too much. And until you get out of survival mode, then that's when you can succeed. But also now we're all in survival mode, so I know what time it is. I gotta go to work, bro. I gotta stop crying and get ready for work and act like everything's okay in the world, because that's what people do. Go to work and act like everything's okay. Life is about patterns. You have to recognize the patterns. And if we're talking about society and how, like, the world works, obviously there's patterns in what happens. They say that the world works in cycles. That's why, like, we can't get rid of things. That's why there's still hatred, there's still racism, there's still all these issues, because it's just, they don't solve them. They just put a little bandage on it for them to, like, let me just hold on for a little bit, So when a society is not thriving, like we are not thriving, most people are living their day-to-day life just like, okay, like, surviving. Survival mode is when you're just working to survive. Like, most people, it's hard to pay for things, to have a roof over your head, to pay your bills, to do this, do that. And At the end of the day, it's like most people do not have time to do anything else but work. You know, you go to work, you're tired, you have kids, you have a family, like you're on survival mode. I don't know if people realize, but the difference between, like, let's say an artist that's famous and the normal person is that they have the time, they have the resources. You know, like I see celebrities, like let's say Billie Eilish, you know, let's say oh yeah, she's talented, she's a big artist, she's so famous, but from an early age, like her parents were musicians, her parents were in the industry, and they wanted to shape their kids into that. So both Billy and the brother Phineas, like they're both successful because that's all they had to do. That's all they had to focus their attention on. Them being kids, privileged kids, or just, you know, kids that were doing okay because their parents were doing okay. They got piano lessons. They got all the lessons they needed. They got homeschooling. Well, their other kids didn't have that opportunity. So it starts at a younger age. It's just some have an advantage over you. And I think that certain people do. I think that people like them do have an advantage, and that's why they move forward. While, you know, when I was in college, I had to work. You know, it took me longer because I had to work full-time and be a full-time student. So there's certain things that privileged people don't have to deal with, you know? If I had money, or my parents like wanted me to do something with my life, or would have known to like nurture my talents, like my drawings, my art, then maybe I'd be in a, you know, different situation. But like most of us are on survival mode, and that's the point I'm trying to make. We cannot get out of survival mode if we are not thriving. If we're so concerned with the day-to-day of like, oh, there's the LA fires, there's like protests, there's racism, there deportations to people that look Mexican. Doesn't matter if you're born here. Doesn't matter if you have, you know, all the papers or whatever. It's just, it's a lot of distraction to keep people in control, to keep them in fear, you know? Oh, well, you know, at least you're safe. At least you have a job. At least you have a roof over your head. That's barely survival mode. We're still in survival mode. When people tell you, oh, you know, be grateful that you have this. At least you have a home. At least you have a roof over your head. It's, I mean, yes, true, but it's okay to want more. You should want more for yourself. But society doesn't want you to. Politicians, they don't care. Newsom, Trump, they don't care about nobody but themselves. They're just two little girls fighting with each other, and we're just caught in the middle. You know, I didn't vote for Trump, I didn't vote for Biden, because Harris, whatever, the same shit. These politicians do not help people. They're here to help themselves. And that's what they want. They want people to work all their lives. They want slaves. From the time you're born, you go to school all your life, they indoctrinate you, they brainwash you to, you know, oh, get a job, do this and do that, and then what? You work till you're 60, 65, and then what? You die? Like, that's not a life that we deserve, if you're asking me. So when it comes to like all these distractions, all these like events of like that are scary, because yeah, they are scary. Like, I'll admit, like, you know, when the fires were happening, I'm like, oh, it's, you know, the other fires, I'm like, I'm not too close, like, I'm good. Like, you know, you watch it on the news, you watch it on TikTok, and it's real, but it's not real. It's not real until you're in the middle of it. And we got in the middle of it, and it was scary. You know, it's the same thing with COVID. We saw it on the news first, and it's not real until it gets to you. So I feel like now it's more and more, instead of like every few years, it's every few months. You know, it's just like one shit after the other. And that's why most people can't function. Like, a lot of people are not great with their mental health. And, you know, obviously, right so. Like, the world is crap. This place, it's bullshit. So I don't know exactly what the point of this is. I think it's interesting to recognize patterns so you can kind of break out of it. Like, yes, I know I deserve better than this job. It is a job, we all need it. but we're barely surviving. I'm just tired. I want to get to the level where, like, I have my shit together and I can thrive and I can be on my own. And just, live a happy life. It's Pride Month. Can we be happy for Pride Month at least? Can you not? World, can you not?